Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. Welcome to our reading lesson. So last week we discussed figurative language and we went over idioms. Idioms are phrases that have a different meaning than what they say, okay? So they say one thing, but they really mean another. So this week we're going to talk about similes and metaphors. Similes and metaphors are also a form of figurative language, and authors and people often use these to make their speech or their writing more vivid, more exciting, and to add a little more depth to what they're trying to say. Okay, so let's talk about similes and metaphors. But before we do that, let's talk about figurative language. What is figurative language? Well, figurative language is words or phrases that say one thing but mean something different. We cannot understand them literally because they have a secondary meaning. So it's raining cats and dogs is an idiom that doesn't really mean it's raining small animals from the sky. It means that it's raining hard outside, okay? So in that phrase, you can't understand it's raining cats and dogs literally because that's not what it means. You have to know, oh, the secondary meaning is it's raining hard outside. The same thing goes for similes and metaphors, although they're not quite as obscure. So a simile, it's a type of figurative language phrase that uses the words like or as to directly compare two things that share something in common. Like I said earlier, it's used to make writing more vivid, exciting, and bright, and descriptive. So you'll know a simile if it has the words like or as. That's the biggest difference between a simile and a metaphor. A simile will always use the words like or as. A metaphor does not. So in this picture, it says a comparison of two things using like or as. The children descended on the buffet like locusts. Are the children really locusts? No, but they all went towards the buffet in a fast, very, overwhelming manner, like a swarm of locusts. So they're just saying that the kids ran to the buffet and man, they took it over. Okay. So the second phrase, her eyes were as blue as sapphires. Does she really have sapphires in her eyes? No, they're making the comparison that her eyes are very blue, almost like the sapphire gem. Okay. So notice how they're comparing two things. The first example, they're comparing children to locusts because they both descended and swarmed the buffet. The second example, they're comparing her eyes and sapphires. And what do they share in common? They're blue. So here's some more examples of similes that you might hear throughout the day or you might have heard before. John runs as fast as lightning. So he's fast, but he's not as fast as lightning, right? That's just something that he shares in common with lightning. That means he's pretty quick. My best friend is as stubborn as a mule. You're comparing your best friend with a mule, a donkey, because they both share the trait of being stubborn. They both are set in their ways. My little sister works as slow as a turtle. What are you comparing? You're comparing your little sister and a turtle and saying they are both slow. That is what they share. And you're using the words like or as. The cloud was fluffy like cotton candy. They're comparing a cloud and cotton candy and saying that they both share the trait of fluffiness. They're both fluffy, okay? Let's go on to metaphors now. So a metaphor is a type of figurative language that directly refers to one thing by mentioning another. It's used to make a comparison between two things that are not alike but share something in common. So when you think of a metaphor, it does not, I repeat, does not use the words like or as. They're just comparing one thing and saying that it's another. Okay? She is a walking dictionary. Is she really a walking dictionary? No, they're saying she knows a lot. She is very smart, okay? A dictionary is full of words and their definitions. They're saying that this girl also knows a lot of definition and words. There you go. She is very smart. Here's some other metaphors. Again, they'll directly compare it by saying it's something else. Your friend George is just a big baby. Is your friend George really a large child? No. If he's saying that they're a big baby, what do babies do? Babies cry. So your friend George is probably someone who cries over things that are silly. You are my guardian angel. Are you really an angel from heaven, sent to protect me? No, but you treat me well and you take care of me like an angel would. So they're comparing your friend with a guardian angel by saying that they're the same thing, but they're really not the same thing, okay? Javier thinks he is the class clown. Is he really someone whose job it is to make the class laugh? No, they're saying Javier is funny, or at least he thinks he's funny, like a clown is funny. My boyfriend is my knight in shining armor. Is your boyfriend really a knight from medieval times? No, they're saying their boyfriend takes care of them and protects them, much like a knight would back in the day during medieval times, okay? The sun was a gleaming pearl. We all know that the sun isn't really a gleaming pearl. It's a star that's thousands, if not millions, of light years away from us, okay? So they're just saying the sun is very bright. It's up in the sky. It's shiny like a gleaming pearl is shiny, okay? So metaphors are a little harder because they're saying that one thing is another to make a connection, to say that these two things share something in common. But the truth is that the item being compared or the person being compared isn't really that item or that object, okay? So my baby brother is a cute little teddy bear. Your baby brother is not a teddy bear, but your baby brother is cute, much like a teddy bear is cute. So they're comparing two things by saying one thing is another. We'll practice this more in depth. I realize that metaphors can be kind of confusing. Similes are a little bit easier, but we will go more in depth in our lesson today, and we'll do a simile versus metaphor sort and go into examples, more examples that you might hear commonly. I hope this lesson was helpful, and I will see you guys during your Zoom meetings. Take care.